Feeling trapped in a cycle of anxiety and depression is completely exhausting. But there's a key mind shift change that could be the game changer that you are looking for. I want you to join me today in a journey through shadows as I reveal my battle with the unseen enemy, depression. From denial to desperation, I'm going to share with you how I tripped through the darkness, using crazy, unhealthy coping mechanisms until it led me to the brink of death. But I want you to stay tuned for the turning point, where resilience triumphs and the sun and the light and the shine finally breaks through the clouds, giving me that light, that path to overcome my darkest days. I want to share with you guys how I overcame depression, how I'm overcoming depression, and how I continue to battle and fight every single fucking day in order to feel good. Because nothing feels worse than feeling like shit. And in today's podcast, that's what we're going to do. So hang on tight. Mental Mobility, episode number 154. I'm going to open up with the first thing, the most important thing I'm opening up with. It's kind of hard to tell the story again. You know, as excited as I am about it, as very excited to tell you more about, how it is and how it was and what we can do. I'm feeling it all over again. I don't know if it's just a research I've done and this, making sure the stories come out correctly, but it just feels like, again, it's creeping back onto me, right? Just by talking about it, just by exploring it, just by trying to do something to give you guys something, it just feels more real again. But now at least I have the coping mechanisms that are correct. I have the skills I need to help. And I have this path and this journey and this line to kind of follow. And I hope you get this out of today. And the first thing that I did, and most of you, once you do it, you're going to be like, fuck this guy, turn it off, I'm done. I want you to hang out for a second. Okay, and just listen up to me about the first thing. And the first thing is what everyone's going to tell you. Cold plunge. Just kidding, not cold plunge. Exercise. Movement. That's why it's called mental mobility. If it wasn't for movement, I will guarantee you most people will never defeat depression. And if there's a lot of people, and currently I know a lot of people that are on medication, they are living in depression, and it's hard for them to get out, but they don't want to move. And again, I'm not going to say it's that easy, right? I'm not going to say it's your fault, because it is difficult when you're in depression to do things that you actually want to do. You're not excited for anything anymore. You kind of feel numb half the time, depending on how deep it is. You feel sleepy. You have no energy. You're not excited. So how the fuck am I going to work out, right? How am I going to get up and just start lifting weights, Pete? Well, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to tell you is that you have to start moving. Right. When I say exercise, again, doesn't mean barbell squats or push presses or burpees. I will always say the first thing you can do is just walk. And I know you want to stop this video now and be like, this kid's fucking stupid. But I'm telling you my story. There's going to be more and more evidence showing that movement is key, especially with mental health. And if you feel like you're stuck and you don't know where to start with that, comment the word workout. Right? And I will send you something. I will send you the program that I sent to all my clients, all my people that I have, all the people that I've helped through fitness, just to start moving. Just comment that word and I will send it to you. You have to do no more work than that. But moving is what saved me. And I'm all about fitness, right? That's my life. That is my profession. That is what I do best. And even during that time, I couldn't do it. I didn't want to work out anymore. But there was that beginning phase of, I guess you can say, the depression, where I just didn't know that I was using working out as something to harm myself with. Because I can get to that point. I can redline. I can max out. But I did it on a daily basis because I would rather feel the pain of hurt and that workout pain or even injury than deal with my true emotions, than deal with the things that really do matter. I was using exercise as a coping mechanism, but in an extreme way, which negatively impacted my body. I hurt my Achilles. I hurt my knee. I hurt my back. I hurt my shoulder. But the main thing I was hurting the most was my mind, because I wasn't properly using exercise. I wasn't properly using movement. I was using it to punish myself, to punish me for the things that I believe at that point I was. Man, I would do things that people would not ever want to do while working out. And I took myself there on a consistent basis. And then when I didn't feel like I could because I was hurting, I would push myself more. And then I would push myself more and call myself a P word. And I call myself a punk. And I call myself a loser. And I call myself lazy. But I wasn't. I was depressed. And I didn't know that. I thought I was just being lazy because I had no energy to get up, because I didn't want to get out of bed, because I wanted to take naps all the time, because I used caffeine drinks and pre-workout drinks like a motherfucker just to wake up. And I destroyed a lot of my body, and I destroyed a lot of my gut health. And I guess I was considered being healthy, right? If you saw me on the outside, I was screaming, smiling, sweating, all the good things, right? All the things that you would think anyone that works out should be doing or going through. I had the perceived image of person that works out, not knowing I was a perceived, not even a real image of someone that is depressed, someone that is anxious, someone that doesn't know what to do with their true feelings because they can't let them out, because it's not something that you do as a man, right? We don't show emotions. I grew up in the fucking 70s, 80s, and 90s. I was born in the late 70s. That's how old I am. And then the 80s, I grew up. No one cries, right? No one fucking cries. And then the 90s, no one still cries. In the 2000s, people still don't cry. You're gay. You're a fag. You're a pussy, right? Those are the words you hear whenever someone cried. Why can't I cry when you call me a fat piece of shit? Like when I'm a kid walking down and everyone's laughing at you, right? Trying to punch you, kick you, chase you because you're the fat one. That's me, by the way. Why can't I cry? Why can't I be upset at that? It is upsetting. But no, I had to eat it up, laugh it off, pretend like it was okay when it's not. Because my true emotion is, why won't they just leave me alone? I thought they're my friends. Why won't these people stop calling me names? I thought they were my family. It hurt. All those emotions inside, I couldn't let anything happen. So when I was a kid, I would probably just eat them away, play video games, and go outside and play and just take it. Right? That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be tough. And it was something, usually we do memes of the day, but apparently something with that. I don't know if I'm allowed to do it, but there was something by Aaron Rodgers. If you know who Aaron Rodgers is, MVP quarterback. He is now the Jets quarterback, if you don't know. And I'm going to play a little snippet of it really fast and really quick right here.
And chivalry is very important.
Get back. Return.
Being a man is talking about your feelings, and we don't actually get taught that. There's a lot of stigma around, like, gotta be strong and never cry and be the protector and provider, and those things are great. There's a lot of beauty in that, and chivalry is very important. But I'm a deep feeler, and so many people are as well. And creating environments and conversations, whether it's at the lunch table, it's in a locker.
That's it. I don't know if you heard that, right? That's kind of, he also says that the present and definition of strength is being able to show your emotion, talk about your emotion, speak about your emotion. Doesn't mean you have to cry about your emotion and complain about your emotion and woe is me about your emotion. That's not wrong either. But you can also talk about it. But it's also very more accepted now these days, which I really do like. I really do appreciate all of you being a little bit more open to that. But trust me, I was the guy that taught that too, because it was taught to me that way. You don't cry. you're a pussy. I think there's a time and place for that. I believe that if you're an athlete and you're going through, you're a wrestler. I'm sorry. If you're a wrestler, you're a fighter, you're a boxer, you're not showing emotion because that's a tell, right? And that's part of the sport. But it's within the sport. It doesn't mean in everyday life. And I feel like that's where people don't know the difference. It's like, oh, you're a football player. Be a fucking man. Play football. Yeah, but don't you think after football, there's some shit they got to deal with? Not being good enough, not being strong enough, not being on the right team, losing. What about that? We're not talking about game time decisions. We're talking about after game, the post game shit you got to work on. Why can't football players talk about that? Why can't wrestlers talk about that? But you carry on this game throughout your whole life, right? And now we can't express these emotions. I have no idea where I'm going because I was talking about exercise, but it kind of led to here. But like I said, the number one thing you do, start moving. If you need that program, you need something to help start, just comment the word workout and I will fucking give it to you. Now, the hardest thing is opening up and starting to do it, right? Easy for you to say, Pete. Sure, I'm going to give you the tool, but you still got to use the tool. Right? I give you a hammer and nail. You still got to fucking hammer the nail into the wall to make it stay. And that's the part that takes work. That's the hard part. But I want you to know, and I want to give you as much energy as I can, that that's how you're going to start feeling better. Because a lot of us don't have purpose. A lot of us don't feel like we count. A lot of us don't feel anything. But starting to move and getting the blood flow moving will help create more energy for you. The more you stay stagnant, the more you avoid, the more we stay inside, the more the darkness is going to take over. So that's going to be the hard part. That's going to be the shadows, right? You have to find your way through the darkness. And just by moving, you're going to start creating some alleyways where you can start to see some light. And I will tell you right now, I will guarantee you will start to feel a little bit better if you consistently start to move a little bit more. And now, if you work in New York City, like here's a great example, not that you do or don't, but you commute, right? And a lot of people from the city walk, right? Oh, I walk to work. I know your body. I walk to work. I have to take the train. And then when I take the train, I got to walk down 5th, and then I go to 3rd, 36th, and then I go up the building. It doesn't matter because you do it every day, so your body knows exactly what it's going to be doing. It doesn't count as exercise anymore. Sure, it counts as steps and movement, but your body is used to those amount of steps and movement every day. So that's now your status. That's now your not your main line, your whatever line. You have to find something else to go above it. And that's maybe doing a little extra. Maybe during your lunch breaks, go for the walk. Maybe after work, go for the walk. Maybe wake up a little bit earlier and go for a walk. Maybe do some Tai Chi, Qigong, karate, anything inside. Put on a YouTube video. Do the program I'll send to you. Do whatever it is you want. But do something that's different. Start breaking the pattern of the routine. And that's the second thing, is breaking the pattern of your routine by maybe creating a new one. Routines are great. Routines are perfect. I love routine. I think it's very important for mental health. If you have mental health stuff, you have to have a daily routine. Now, your daily routine doesn't have to be fucking Joe Rogan's daily routine. It doesn't have to be fucking Jordan Peterson's daily routine. Even though if that's something you like, then do it. But let's not get to the extremist level of what you need. Right? What do you like to do? Sometimes we take on too much of this shit like cold plunging and sauna and jumping through the sun, coming back, burning myself on the sun, and then making myself come back. right? I'm going to do keto, carnivore, fucking this diet. Oh, I'm going to do the hard 57 challenge and I'm going to make shit and everything hard for my life. Your life is already hard. Why are you going to take on things that are not sustainable? And that's a conversation I can have on another day, because we're not here to get ramped up, because I can get ramped up about that, especially with working out and nutrition. Everything is so extreme. Sometimes you need to take a step back and just start with the basics, because you're not there. Maybe you'll be there to do the hard 75, whatever the fuck it's called. Right? Maybe you'll be there to have a bathtub full of cold ice, or have the money to buy ice every single day. It's a lot of ice. Hope you got storage for it. But we don't need to do that. There's little things that you can do to help better yourself. Little things like self-care, like talking to yourself, or meditating, or going for a walk, or listening to some calming music, or being there, or mindfulness. Mindfulness is huge. Everything in DBT and everything in any, my therapist and psychiatrist, they just know it's mindfulness, right? And I'm not talking mindfulness like trees. No, mindfulness is just knowing what's happening in the present moment, knowing how you're feeling in the present moment, and being there. I'm fucking mad. Okay, well, I'm fucking mad. Not, I'm mad. Let me think about something else. How do I stop being mad? How do I stop being mad? No, you're mad. How do we deal with that? Right? So what's your structure? What's going to be your routine? What's going to be the change in your routine? Because if your routine right now is wake up, press snooze, make a cup of coffee, down the cup of coffee, make another cup of coffee, down that cup of coffee, don't eat anything, or just eat shit, and then go to work, hate life, think about everything negative, watch the news, watch some, whatever you do and scroll. Your feed is probably negative stuff, I'm sure, or trying to find things to feel good. You got to break that one. What's going to be the turning point? What's going to be that mindset shift that we talked about in the beginning? Where are you going to change your mind that it's time to change your life? And I know everyone wants to click off. You want to click off right now, I know, because Pete, go fuck yourself. Now you're going to tell me a second thing that I don't want to do. And it's true. I know you don't want to do it. But I hope you try. I hope you try. I want to go back for me, like when I was in that depression stage and I really didn't know. Here was my routine. Wake up 3 a.m. in the morning. Why? Because I needed to work out before the class worked out. And so when I taught class, my first class was at 5 a.m. All my classes start at 5 a.m. So I had to get my workout in beforehand. So wake up at 3, get it to the gym by 3:30, start warming up, get my workout in so I can test what it is. But at the same time, I just wanted to start my day by punishing myself, because I couldn't let go of how I felt from the day before. And then the way I took it, or the way I portrayed it, was Pete's fucking crazy. Look at him work out at 3 in the morning. Look at me, right? Give me some likes, please, for me working out at 3:30 in the morning. Please give me some thumbs up on Instagram, so I feel a little bit better about myself. So I'm going to just punish myself through this grueling, shitty workout, and then have people start walking into the gym, which was not fair to them at all. But thank God they love me enough to understand that I was treating them like a piece of shit dick, screaming at them, yelling at them. Not even, like, at that point of time, I wasn't even nice. I would spit. Is that what you want to walk into, like, to a gym? I mean, I don't know. Thank God people knew me, understood me, and even supported me. But I didn't hate them. I just hated me. I hated how I felt. I hated what I was going through. I hated that I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't understand why, and I didn't want to seek help. I figured I could do this on my own. I could do this on my own. You're tough. You're tough. You're mentally strong, Pete. You can do this on your own. You can do this on your own. Aren't those enough warning signs? Like I'm waking up, not even sleeping, in order to do a hard ass workout in the morning to show people that I'm tough and then lead them into the same workout? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a double-edged sword there because, I did definitely help many people. I helped sharpen their minds. I helped them become tougher mentally. And I know I proved that. I did the same thing to myself. But my meaning wasn't there. I don't know the word I'm trying to use, but my meaning was not that. My meaning then was, please look at me. Please, someone help me. Please, someone understand enough that I'm hurting. But no one knows because I'm that good at hiding how it is I feel, how it is I act, and how it is I have nothing to say on that one. It took me to the points of being so dark. I would go walk my dogs and other people's dogs because I thought starting another business on top of business was a great idea. So I'd walk people's dogs and I would drink during those walks with a coffee because I was tired. So I'd take a coffee, throw some whiskey inside there, walk around town, walk some dogs. Now I'm feeling better. Go back in for the second shift at work, maybe hit a second session. I'm feeling okay. Wasn't drunk, but I was feeling it. Maybe have a couple drinks during work because it was my gym. I could do whatever I want. I'd have beers in the fridge, crack them open, have a beer, have a whatever. Leave at some point, go home. Hide the emotions from my wife or pretend that the guy was. Hide the emotions while raising my kid, spending time with them, then have a drink. Now, would it be every day? No, but it would be multiple times throughout the week. Yeah, especially when I didn't know what to do with my feelings anymore. And then repeat. This sounds like you. We had to change. We had to change our routine. We have to change the way we were doing things. Because all I was afraid to talk. I was afraid to talk to someone. And if I did, I was talking to another depressed person usually. Right? We're just going back and forth with depression. But I'm trying to help them with depression. But at the same time, I'm trying to help me with depression. You're depressed. I'm depressed. I'm trying to help you, though, because it's making me feel good that I'm trying to help you. But what I'm really doing is I'm just trying to talk out loud of what it is I'm really feeling. And now we can cope together and just be depressed together. Which is better than nothing, I can say, right? I can say it's better than nothing and just being internal. But number 3 is definitely find someone to talk to. But someone's going to tell you the truth. Someone that's going to listen. Someone that's not going to be there and just say, yeah, me too. Because I found that wasn't helpful. Right? And I love them. And I'm still friends with them. Most of them are probably listening to this podcast. But I believe that wasn't the answer that I needed and I was looking for. And it wasn't until I did finally try to end myself. And I ended up in the hospital. False. I'll take that back. I will take that back. Because I did call a therapist before that point. That's the only reason that I did end up in the hospital. was because I was talking to a therapist, and then they switched me out, or then I switched to another one. And after the first meeting, I just almost lost my rafters. I tried to, I was really thinking and had many, many aggressive thoughts about suicide. So I emailed them at like 6 in the morning. I emailed the psychiatrist, I believe. It's so fucking bland right now. I don't remember. Yeah, I emailed them, and then they called me immediately. I don't know how they knew or they did it, but they called me immediately. And I was just crying on the phone. And then they told me that the cops are coming to the house now to pick me up. And now it's their legal duty to bring me to the hospital, or to the mental hospital, or the mental unit. I don't know what they called it. I forgot what it's called. And I had to go. There's no way. It was either that or I was going to get arrested. So because it was there, I told them already how I felt and the thoughts that I had, and I was that close in that email. It was a really short email too. Pretty to the point, not going to lie. And I wonder if I still have that email. It's got to be there. I'm going to find it. And then, cops. They said the cops were coming. And then I chose to do it on my own. So I went with my wife and my dad, which was very weird that he dropped me off there. My dad passed, by the way. I think that's why I just took a moment. And then that's it. I was there for some days, and that was the first group sessions that I got into, and that was really the turning point for me. Right? I started getting better. Did I feel better? No. That was in 2020. Guys, it's 2024, and now I'm starting to feel better. I will always have waves of depression. I am bipolar, which means I have to understand and how to cope with these emotions, or these extreme points of emotions. I have to know how to handle it in these situations. I have to know my skills very well. And I don't mean to say half like it's a burden on me. I want to know. Right? I want to know how to feel good, because it feels so nice to feel good. Right? It feels so fucking nice to feel free. That when I feel depressed, I want that to end fast. I want it to go away. But I know how to help myself in the times, and how long it's going to ride for, and how to handle it. Am I great at it? No, that's why I'm doing this. I'm still working. I'm just working. I'm just like you. I'm not an expert. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm a person who lives through this shit every single day of his goddamn life. And now that I look back to my life, now I know so many moments that make more sense to me. That it wasn't me. It was the shadow. It was the dark. It was depression that took over my fucking life. It was in control. And I didn't know what to do, because I wanted to do things like my body wanted to do it, my brain wanted to do it, but my brain also did not allow it to. And then my body didn't want to. When I came here to Vegas, I gained like 20 pounds, right? But then from there, it's almost like I gained like 30 pounds of like not fun stuff. I lost a lot of muscle because I avoided working out, and I made all these different reasons about why I can't, or I couldn't, or I shouldn't. And a lot of it has to do with anxiety, right? I'm in a new area. It's going to be new stuff. So a lot of things that I have to deal with there. Not on top of that, you add your depression, where it really forces you to not want to do much. Those are the results that's going to happen. And a lot of us think it's over. Right? A lot of us think we're never going to get back to where it was we were. But here's what I want to tell you. Okay, here's what I want to fucking tell you. It doesn't matter where you were. We can always change it. We just have to make the decision to start. That's it. And it doesn't have to be all of the skills at once. That's why I always say number one is the best thing to do. is just start moving. Because once you start doing one good thing, one thing that makes you feel a little better in your life, it starts to trickle in more. It's a snowball effect. When people start to work out, here's one thing that I do for someone, even wants just off the subject of depression, we're going to talk about weight loss. Someone wants to lose weight, right? When someone wants to lose weight, and I'm sure this might be just like you, I'm going to start working out. Boom. So they start working out. How many times a day? 2 times a day, 7 days a week. I went from eating McDonald's and pizza to chicken, broccoli, water. Extreme. How long is that going to be sustainable? Not that long. Right? We always try to go to the big peak that we watch and that we see on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. Like, this is how they do it. Well, I'm going to do it this way, which is great. But where are you in that journey? Find something small that's repeatable, something that is sustainable, not something that's going to be short and sweet. And that goes the same thing with feeling better, right? Finding the light. I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm depressed right now. I don't know if you can tell from my other podcasts, but like my demeanor changes, right? My tone changes. My voice changes. Right now, I am in a depressed state. But the main thing I do here is to make sure the first thing I do is to get moving. Drink some water. Go on my morning walk with my dogs. Be grateful for the stars, and because it's usually pretty dark out, I look for the stars and talk to the stars, and I say thank you for everything. Get back inside and make something for my family because I'm a giver, right? And making breakfast for my kids makes me feel good. Not only that, I'm a provider, so I will provide to my family. I will take care of them. Checklist, not something I have to do, right? That's where I have to change the language, because sometimes we go, oh, I got to make my kids breakfast. I got to get my wife's lunch ready. No, that's the mistake I do all the time. When I start finding myself talking that way and speaking that way, I go, I can't wait to make my kids breakfast. I get to make my kids breakfast. I get to watch them exercise in the morning because I make them exercise in the morning. I get to prepare their lunches. I get to walk the dogs. I get to be grateful. I get to. Right? That one small word change or that shift in my language makes a huge fucking difference, especially when I feel this way. And when I start my morning that way, it usually ends up pretty 70%. But I'm doing my best to not. And then here's one more thing, right, that I do is I feel guilty for not maybe doing everything I do. So I work, perfect example. I worked this morning, had a great class. I was very happy that a lot of people showed up and enjoyed the workout. And then when it was done, it was like almost that the crash you get after teaching because your mind's tired, right? I get tired. I just worked fucking 6 hours from 5 a.m. till whatever time if I leave. I don't know what time I left. And then I get home and then I got to do stuff here. And I want to do this. I want to do this. You know what I did? I actually watched TV. I watched my kid play VR. He likes to play Gorilla Tag on VR. It's his form of exercise. I love it. One of his forms of exercise. And I just watched. And then I fucking chilled out. But I had next to me a basket full of clothes to fold. What am I going to feed them for lunch? What am I going to do tonight? Am I going to do something tomorrow and make reservations? Am I going to meet up with my brother and his friends? What's going to happen? Instead, I said, fuck it. I had a great morning. I can figure those things out later. And I'm going to be present and be mindful of what's happening now. I'm tired. Drink some water. Have a snack if you want to help feel good. I had a little cup of pretzels. I haven't had pretzels in a bit. And I watched my kid have a fun time and monitored, making sure no one talks shitty to him on VR. So I don't know if that's how many tips that is. It's not a tip, right? I just want to tell you the story of the journey of like how I just got out of it. And how I can always say the first thing to do is like just exercise. And if you want to exercise and you need help, comment the word workout in the comment section and I will send it to you. Thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it.